this is what I'll do, you guys, is I will um, first talk about how college could impact your life and your career, right? And your lifestyle. So here we go. In the United States of America, those that do not go to college on average, well, let's say, let me word it this way. Folks that go to college earn more than double salaries than those that do not go to college. More than double. And it breaks down a couple of different ways. You can go to college and get a 2 year degree. And if you get a 2 year degree, you earn, a little bit more than a person that just goes straight to work right after high school. If you go to college for 4 years and you get a 4 year degree, you earn even more. And then if you decide that you want to specialize in something or do something else after that and you get more college, you earn more money. So what does that mean for you all? It means that you'll be able to take more vacations. I don't know if you all like taking vacations or not, traveling and stuff, but you'll be able to take more vacations. It means that you all aren't really familiar with this right now, but there will be a time when you get familiar. There's things called bills, and they don't stop ever for the rest of your life. Bills. You'll be able to pay your bills comfortably. Um, just so you all know, people that have gone to college, every couple of years, people get surveyed and they ask, questions about their life and whatever else. And every time they get surveyed, folks that have gone to college report that they're more satisfied with their life than those that don't go to college. So the benefits of going, now I'm not saying that you have to go. You can do whatever it is you want to do, whatever you seek, whatever you're passionate about, you're interested in, you can do whatever you want. And by and large, people that go to college, are good to go. So if you decide that that's a path that you want to take, college costs money. It actually costs a lot of money. So all the things that you enjoy doing right now, so you could go, when you go to your classes, your teachers give you the books that you need to learn. In college, you have to pay for it. You get to go to school for free. You go there. It's your right in the United States of America. So you can go and you go. In college, you have to pay to go to class. So Say Yes to Education is a scholarship organization that will give you a scholarship. It's called a tuition guarantee to go to college. It is unlike pretty much anywhere else in the United States. There's some communities that have what is like a college promise, but this is very unique to the Syracuse City School District. So you have an opportunity to go to college, and Say Yes to Education is going to make it affordable, right? So what we have is a tuition scholarship, and there's a whole bunch of colleges that we work with, that we partner with, that are all over the country. So you will have the opportunity to go to college with your tuition taken care of in many, many parts of the United States, right? So what comes with that is, let's say if you want to go to school in North Carolina, we also work with Southwest Airlines, and they will give you a voucher to get to school and back. All right. So there's all sorts of advantages that you have. Oh, sorry, this is my door. But there's all sorts of advantages that you have if you decide you want to go to college. And here's the other thing. Let's say, you might be thinking, I don't know about college, and you want to go to you're interested in welding, or if you're interested in carpentry or construction or something that you need some sort of certificate, you can get your certificate. First of all, you already know the Syracuse City School District has something called CTE, that's a Certified Technical Education. So you'll have an opportunity to get a certificate, be certified while you're in high school, so that when you graduate, you are certified to go right into work. And then there's also courses at like OCC or other 2-year colleges where you can go and get your tuition paid for by Say Yes and receive your certificate. So if you're thinking those are some things that you want to do, if you like working with your hands, something like that, you should seriously consider Say Yes. All right. So let me just from here tell you all a little bit about myself. So my name is Ahmeed Turner. I'm from Syracuse. I graduated from Nottingham in the 90s when Nottingham had a great football team and a great basketball team. Not saying they don't now, but you know, it was different. And I wasn't a straight A student, not even close, the whole time. I could have been a straight A student. You know what I did? Is I did just enough while I was in high school and middle school so that people wouldn't pay attention to me. I did just enough so that, okay, he's not somebody we need to worry about. And I suspect that some of you are in that category. There are, you know, and my story is not like I don't have the story to tell that says like, oh, I came from extreme hardship or something like that. No, I was good. My parents were good. I was raised in a good house. I like to have fun. For 2 years while I was in high school, I went to Bishop Grimes. Total culture shock. Total culture shock. At Bishop Grimes, you have to wear a uniform every day. At Bishop Grimes, here goes a funny story. I got suspended, right? And instead of them sending me home, they put me in the chapel by myself the whole day. Can you imagine that? Instead of sending me home, I had to sit in chapel all day. And what's even funnier, chapel's right next to the cafeteria. So when everybody went to lunch, they all jumped in the window. Ooh, look at you. Ooh. So my issue when I was in high school was I like to have fun and I like to play around. My hope for you all is that it's cool to have fun. It's cool, you know, all that stuff, but make sure you get done what you need to get done. Make sure you take care of your schoolwork. Make sure you exude integrity at all times. Integrity is so important. What you do now will last for a lifetime. I can tell you right now, from middle school to high school, some of the reputations that people developed then still carry on now. And I graduated in the 90s. Some people are still known for how they behaved at that time. So you always want to have integrity. You always want people to know that what they see is what they get, that you're not one way over here and one way over here, right? And the other important thing is that for me, so I have 2 master's degrees, 2. You should not think that you are limited right now in anything. Even if you're a straight A student, you're not limited. If you feel like, oh, I don't know if college is for me. I don't think I'm smart enough. Stop. All colleges, there's really no difference. The only difference there is when you go to college is they want you to do a little bit more work. But the work is not harder from an intellect standpoint. You just have to do it. And you won't have anybody breathing down your neck to get it done. So you should not think that. You should not think that you are limited in any sort of way. And the other good thing is there are adults that want to see you win in every aspect. They want to see you win as a person. They want to see you happy. They want you to contribute and give back to your community, and also contribute and look out for some younger people when you become a little bit older. All right. And then the other thing is, I don't know, I think you all are 7th, 8th grade, right? some high schoolers. Oh, all high schoolers? Oh, ninth, 10th? Okay, cool. So if you're in high school, 11, 12? Okay, cool. So when you all think about Ford, so all right, I have to adjust my whole thing, man. I thought they were younger. So check it out. A lot of you 17, 16, 17, some of you maybe 18. In a very short period of time, you're going to be 22. And then in a very short period of time, you're going to be 26. And it goes on and on. The time passes by quick. If you have not thought about yourself at 22 already, you need to start thinking about it right now. If you have not envisioned how you want to be and where you want to be, you should start right now. The worst thing you do, a person that fails to plan plans to fail. So if you're not at least envisioning yourself a certain way right now, trust me, man, trust me. It's hard to climb that ladder if you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So my hope for you all is that if you're not considering college, think of your plan, man. What are you going to do after high school? If you haven't considered post-secondary education, you better start thinking right now because it's going to come up quick. It's only really a few short months. I know it's coronavirus and all this other stuff, but trust me, the world is real. And when you get out here, it starts immediately. Immediately after you graduate high school in every aspect, whether it's the law, whether it's meeting your responsibilities, whether it is if you're trying to get out on your own, if you're trying to, whatever it is you're trying to do, it gets very, very real. So I'm sorry, you all. I thought they were a little younger, so I would have modified what I was saying. But I think the most important thing is get ready. Get ready, and if you need help, if you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to ask me. As far as the scholarships go, so I'm going to go a little deeper into how that works. Tuition is just the one piece of the pie. When you go to college, there's also room and board, books, fees, that type of thing. That all comes at a charge. No matter where you go, you're going to look at, outside of Say Yes, $15,000 to $20,000 that you need to pay. And that depends on whether you want to eat 2 meals a day or 3 meals a day or 3 meals and a snack. Because the board, they charge you to eat. All right. So no matter where you go, you're going to see something. You shouldn't go in thinking Say Yes is going to pay for everything and you have nothing to worry about. That happens to a lot of people. The other thing you need to know is that we're a last dollar scholarship. So you all right now, it's October, you should be getting ready to complete your FAFSA application. That's free application for federal student aid. If you qualify, the feds will give you a grant. It's called a Pell Grant. If you plan on going to school in New York State, you have to complete the New York State Tuition Assistance Program application. They call it TAP. If you qualify, New York State will give you money for tuition. Say Yes is a last dollar scholarship. So what we'll do is, if you get a Pell Grant and if you get a TAP grant, we will apply that towards tuition. And if it doesn't cover the whole cost of tuition, then Say Yes will make up that balance so that your tuition, so that you don't have to take out any loans for tuition. All right. So this is really, really important. A lot of people, they'll do the FAFSA application. They'll see they're getting, I don't know, $6,000 from the feds. And then they'll say, well, Say Yes is taking care of my tuition, so I'm going to use this Pell Grant to help pay for this. And that's not how it works for us. We're going to take that $6,000 and apply it towards the tuition and then pay the balance. All right. And it goes the same for TAP. We take both of those, apply it towards tuition, and then we pay the balance. The other thing I would highly, highly advise that you do, if you haven't done so already, if you know you plan on going to college, start checking them out now. I can't tell you how many students get to a college and it's not the right fit, or it's not the right place, or there's something about it that doesn't work. And then they don't have a successful semester and they say, well, college isn't for me. If you start at least virtually visiting these colleges right now, you will find a college that fits you. But if you just go in blind, you don't know what you're going to get. So at least start checking them out now, if you haven't done so already. If you haven't done so already. And the other thing is applications are coming up. Make sure you seek help from a high school counselor. Make sure you seek help from one of your mentors here. Make sure you seek help from whoever to help you complete those applications, because you want to submit a strong application. All right. You could even you could even email us or call me or whatever the case, and we would try to help you with a college application. We would for sure help you with financial aid once you decide where you want to go. The other thing is, when you do know where you want to go, we don't know automatically. You have to complete our online application. So right now, you don't have to do anything. Your record followed you all the way to senior year. After that, the Syracuse City School District doesn't keep track anymore. We don't have a mechanism that keeps track of what you're going to do after high school. The only way we know that you're going to college is if you complete our application. So that's really, really important. I can't tell you how many times we'll get a phone call and somebody says, I'm over here, I didn't get any say yes. And we're like, well, you didn't complete an application. So that's really, really important. Man, I feel like I'm going a mile a minute. Let me just pause and just ask, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do the FAFSA application?
So you have to go, I'm going to do it right now. You can do it online. Actually, you have to do it online. And you go to, you go to fasfa.ed.gov.
Okay.
And when you get there, there's a button that says start here. You click that, and then it's going to ask you for your basic information. But what you want to really have ready is it's going to ask you about income and all this other stuff. So the last year you filed your taxes, you want to have that information ready, because it's going to ask you for information from your taxes. All right.
Your parents' taxes.
Your right. Your parents' taxes. It's going to ask you for information from your parents' taxes. So make sure you have that ready. The other thing you need to do is you need to create an ID. So when you go in, you're gonna go in, say you want to do a FAFSA. It's gonna ask you for your information, and then there's gonna be a button that you click to make an ID. And it won't let you complete the application unless you do that. So make your ID. In some cases, it goes through really quick and it takes you right to the application. In other cases, it takes a while for it to happen. My advice would be go in and make your ID one day. And once you get that confirmation email, then go back in and complete the application.
Okay. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Write the ID information down. I messed up when I did my son's. I forgot it, and then I had to go through this whole thing because I didn't write every piece of information down, and so then I forgot the password, I forgot the ID, and it made a bigger mess. Make sure you write everything down, hard copy, that you're doing, so you remember it.
Okay.
Right, yeah. Write it down, put it in your phone, whatever works for you, where you'll be able to retrieve it real quick. Should you have to go in and make a change or something like that, most definitely do that.
All right.
Now, can they do that now before they know where they're going?
They can do the FAFSA right now. So what'll happen is if you go in and you complete a FAFSA application, you put your info in there, whatever, and then the schools that you want to apply to, you can list all those schools. You can list, I believe it's like up to 10 schools. So you can put all the schools that you're going to apply to. They'll all get your information.
Okay.
So yeah, I've actually done it already.
Oh, good. So all right. So when you did it, walk us through how you did that. So you went to FAFSA.
First I started off with making an FSA ID for me, and my mom had one for when my sister was applying for college. So you use those to log into FAFSA. And then once you do that.
So hold on, pause right there. So you said something that everybody needs to know. So you got your FSA ID, and your parents had to get an FSA ID too. So it's really important.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
pausing right there because a lot of times students go in and they try to do it all by themselves. Your parent has to have an FSA ID. All right, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, after I did that a couple weeks ago, and then after you do the first application for FAFSA, you'll get your ECF. It's like an estimate for how much your family would have to pay for college.
Oh, okay. Yes. That's called an EFC, and it's estimated family contribution. Yes. And so when you completed the application, did they email that to you, or did you see it at the end when you submitted it? How did you know what your EFC was?
After you submitted it, there was a page that showed how much you owed, and then they emailed it to you also.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you did that. The other part, so when you completed the application, was there a link that took you to the New York State TAP application? Or, well, let me ask first, are you looking at going to school in New York State?
Yes, sir.
So was there a link that took you to the TAP application?
I have not done that yet. I'm working on my CSS profile right now.
Ooh.
There's a lot. It's really hard to remember all of it.
There's a lot.
So, all right, pause right there. So for the rest of you, a CSS profile is similar to a FAFSA application, except they ask more questions. A CSS profile is designed to get a real sense of what a family's ability to contribute, to get a real sense of a family's estimated family contribution. So at schools like Syracuse University or University of Rochester, they have a CSS profile. There are some folks, I can't get into like the nuts and bolts of it, but there are some folks whose income looks a certain way, but their net value does not equal what their income is. So I'll give you all a perfect story. There was many years ago, there was a student who got the SAS tuition guarantee. She came to our office. The student was getting the maximum Pell Award. So if you're getting the maximum Pell Award, that means the feds think that, okay, this family's income is really, really low. So we're going to give them the most we could give them to help them out for school. Got the maximum Pell Award and everything else, and went outside and was in a brand new BMW and drove right off. So the CSS profile is designed to check everybody out to make sure, okay, we can see that your family income is low, but are you all, do you have some sort of $1 million inheritance from your Uncle Charlie, or do you have some sort of something that doesn't account for your taxes? That's all that is. Awesome. All right. Is there any other questions?
He stepped on to answer your questions, guys. So this is for you.
Okay. So I'll do this. Oh, was there a question coming?
Well,
yeah.
my first. Go ahead, Abduli.
No, you got it.
I just want to say my first step in this was making a common app. I don't know if some of these folks have done that yet, so maybe.
Yes. So you all, I don't know if you all are. Somebody should have said something to you about it, but there is a platform that called Naviance, right? And if someone has shared this with you in Naviance, you can go in there and there's a link to the Common App. And on the Common App, you can complete your application and you can submit it to multiple colleges. So rather than doing an application for every single college that you want to go to, you do the Common App, and that app goes to all the colleges you want, and you've only done it once. So it's I would suggest going to Common App. Also in Naviance, let's say you need to get recommendations from your teachers or something like that. You can get a recommendation from your teacher, and they won't have to do a recommendation for every single school either. So you can do that in Naviance. I don't know if anybody's spoken to you about Naviance. I know the Syracuse school district has it. If they haven't, at the very least, you should go to the Common App. So it'll make it very efficient for you to apply to multiple colleges.
Go ahead, Abdul.
Did you have a question? All right, so I'm gonna continue on. There's some more stuff about Say Yes that you need to know. Once you get to, all right, let's say you go through it all, you apply to college, you let us know, you did the FAFSA application, you did the TAP application, you're there. Once you get there, we do have what are called student responsibilities. So what are those? You have to enroll in a college full-time. When you get there, you could either be part-time or you could be full-time, totally your choice. For us, in order to get the tuition guarantee, you have to be full-time. All right. The other thing you have to do is you have to complete each semester with at least a 2.0, which is a C average. All right. So just imagine this. When we put the scholarship together, there's a scholarship council, and they want to know that the money is going to good use. So imagine you give a relative some money because they're down or whatever, and then the next day you see them, they have new sneakers rather than buying groceries. That's kind of like how the council feels about the scholarships. They don't want to give money to students that aren't going to take full advantage. You know what I'm saying? So you have to enroll full time. You have to complete full time. That's another thing too. And you have to have at least a 2.0 semester GPA. And you have to do that every semester. If you don't have a 2.0 GPA, you go on probation with us for the following semester. And if you don't meet the student responsibilities for 2 semesters in a row, then you lose eligibility. All right. And you can regain eligibility. It's just when you go for that 3rd semester, you won't get any Say Yes funding. So if you go for the 3rd semester and let's say you do great, GPA is outstanding, you enroll full time, you complete full time, you'll regain eligibility. So when you go for the 4th semester, you get a Say Yes award. Is that making sense? All right. I'll take the silence as a yes. All right. Another important thing you need to know, the scholarships only last for up to 4 years, 8 semesters. Okay. So let's say you go to a 2-year school. If you go to a 2-year school, it lasts 2 years, 4 semesters. If you go to a 4-year school, it lasts 4 years, 8 semesters. Now, what I'm getting ready to say is very, very important. We award students from an endowment, which is a pie. We take a slice of the pie for every student. We do not keep student accounts. So let's say you decide, I don't want to go to school right now. I'm going to wait or whatever. There's no like separate thing. Let's say I'm a student. There's no little pocket of money for Ahmeed sitting over here. So whenever he wants to go, he could go. It's not how it works. For us, you have up to 1 year after you graduate high school to enroll. And then when you enroll, that begins the length of eligibility that you have. If it's at 4-year school, it's 4 years, 8 semesters. 2-year school, it's 2 years, 4 semesters. Sometimes, actually many times, if a student decides they want to go to a 2-year school like OCC and then transfer, the federal Pell Grant and the New York State TAP Grant will cover tuition. In those cases where it covers tuition, a student could go to OCC for 2 years and they're like, well, I never got anything from CAS when I was at OCC for 2 years. Now I'm transferring. Can I get the full 4 years? That's not how it works. Even though you didn't get anything from CAS for the 2 years at a 2-year school, when you transfer to a 4-year school, you will only be eligible for 2 more years. You won't be eligible for another 4 years. You know, I hope that's making sense to you all. All right. So there is a time frame on the scholarships. They don't last forever. You have to. So for you all, you graduate 2021. You will have until 2022 to enroll in a college and remain eligible. If you wait till 2023, you won't be eligible. So you have that 1 year, and then once you're there, if you go to a 2-year school, it's 2 years, 4 semesters, and if you go to a 4-year school, it's 4 years, 8 semesters. That's how that thing works. All right. So are there any questions for that?
Yeah, I got a question. So for like the 4-year college, will CAS cover all of it?
Yeah. So if you decide you want to go to a 4-year school right after graduation, your eligibility lasts all 4 years. Now, I can't say there's a certain dollar amount that you're going to get because we're a last dollar scholarship, right? So it depends on if you get a Pell Grant, depends on if you go to school in New York State, if you get a TAP Grant, what your award is going to be. But you'll get the full 4 years. The other thing, though, that you should know is if you go to a 2-year school and transfer to a 4-year school, it still adds up to 4 years. Is that making sense? Because you get the 2 years at the 2-year school. Then when you transfer, you get another 2 years at the 4-year school. It's all 4 years.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Yep. The other thing you all should, I'm sure you're probably going to speak to somebody, but you should know anyways, is we work with any organization that's trying to help you out. So like there's an organization called On Point for College, if you haven't heard of them. They'll help you with a lot of stuff, and we work with them to make sure all your needs are getting met. So let's say like there's some sort of problem with financial aid and whatever else, and they're trying to help you out. We talk to them directly about a student situation. So if you're in a situation and you're talking to On Point and you're like, I don't know what's going on with Say Yes, the person from On Point will say, well, hold on, let me call Say Yes right now. And they'll call us and we'll say, oh, this is going on with this student, that student. I say that to say that whoever you're working with, and On Point, I'm saying On Point because we work with them a lot, but whoever you're working with, we just want to help you out. So even if it's just like a friend, a parent, guardian, the only thing we can't do is we cannot talk about your academics, and we cannot talk about your income, because there's something called FERPA, and that's spelled FERPA, and it's the acronym stands for Family Education Rights Privacy Act. When you go to college, all of your information is protected by the law. So I can never, if Mr. Haran called and he said, hey, man, what's going on with this kid? You know, he's telling me his GPA is this. Can you tell me his GPA? I can't do that. I can't do that. Not unless you give me permission. You know what I'm saying? But otherwise, if you're trying to figure out financial aid or something like that, and Mr. Rand says, hey, Ahmeed, this kid is telling me that, you know, his FAFSA didn't go through, or he's saying he did his TAP. I could say, well, according to the school, they told me he didn't do his TAP. So he's got to do his TAP. Or whatever the case. You see what I'm saying? So I highly, highly advise that you take advantage of whoever is trying to help you. Lastly, I'll say we do not look at third-party scholarships. If you're getting a scholarship from the Mr. Haran Scholarship of Excellence, I highly advise that you take advantage of that. If you're getting a scholarship from your church or from some other place, we don't look at that at all. You should, I would highly, highly advise seeking out any and all scholarship opportunities that are out there, because that's not us.
So they'll be able to use that for their board and their fees and their room and some stuff, right?
They can use it for whatever they want. Whatever they want. I once got asked a couple of years ago, well, if SAS is going to take care of tuition, why should we look for another scholarship? Because we don't, if you get another scholarship, we don't care. You can use it for whatever.
Awesome. All right, guys. What are your questions? Who else got a question?
Yeah, I have another question.
Okay.
So, like, I've seen on the website that it said, like, if you're trying to go to Cornell, it'll pay for, like, room and books and all that.
Good. That's an excellent question. So, Cornell is a private school. We have agreements with over 100 private schools all over the country. The agreement with the private school goes like this. This is really important. If you apply to that school and you get accepted and you meet our eligibility, they will cover tuition. They'll use the same formula that I just talked about, but the money they use to cover your tuition comes from the school. It doesn't come from SAS. So if you go to Cornell and you get that tuition guarantee, that money is coming from their pockets. So because it's coming from their pockets, they have more latitude, or I guess prerogative, to say, well, we want to use it like this. So when you go to our website and you see a private college and then you see like a little more information next to the college, that's because they're saying at Cornell, yeah, we're going to cover the tuition. And you know what else? We're also going to cover their books. We're going to cover their fees. We're going to cover whatever else. And I mean, what are we going to do? It's their money. So if they're saying they want to do it, yay, great, cover more. But go to our website. Go to our website so you'll see which schools are doing that. All right. There's only two more things that I know I want to cover for you all that you really should know. If you go to school to a public college that is State University of New York, they call it SUNY. If you go to one of those schools and you have enough TAP, their tuition is cheap, y'all. Like this year, their tuition is $7,070. If you get the maximum Pell Award, the maximum Pell is $6,900 and something. If you get the maximum TAP Award, the maximum TAP Award is $7,000. So right there, those two things cover tuition. But if you want to live on campus, the cost, they call it the cost of attendance. The cost of attendance at any SUNY school is going to be over $25,000. If you go and you get enough federal Pell Grant and enough New York State TAP Grant to cover tuition and you live on campus or in campus affiliated housing, we have a grant that you can use towards all of that other stuff. It's called an opportunity grant. You don't apply to this grant. It's automatic. When we get your information from the college and we see that, oh, he's getting this, she's getting that, automatically you get an opportunity grant. And you can use that opportunity grant towards your books, towards your fees, towards whatever it is. It's for $2,000. The other thing is, if you go to school at a private school, there's a thing we have with the private schools, right? So I told you that money comes from their pockets, but they only want to do it for students that wouldn't otherwise be able to afford the price. And at all private colleges, they're way more expensive. Their tuition is way more expensive than a SUNY college. So at Cornell, they'll guarantee tuition if the family income is below 75K. If it's above 75K, 75K is $75,000. If it's above $75,000, we have something called a choice grant. It's for $5,000 that you can use towards whatever. All right. So those are, I think I pretty much covered the whole thing on how this thing works. What I will say is there's if you go onto our website and fill out an application right now, that's cool. You can go in, you can put all the schools that you're interested in. You'll just have to remember to go back in there and check the school that you're going to go to. What I advise doing is to wait until you know what school you're going to. And this is why I advise that. Every single year, we get a handful of students and families that will contact us right now or September or August, and they're like, we got this bill, we don't see say yes. Either they'll talk to me or they'll talk to the scholarship assistant, and we'll go look them up and say, okay, did you complete an application? Yeah, I did an application in October. Okay, well, I'm looking and I see your application, but you didn't indicate what school you're going to. We got 10 schools here. We're not going to reach out to 10 schools on your behalf to get your information. We're going to reach out to the school that you tell us you're going to. So even if you do it right now and you list all the schools, you have to remember to go back in and tell us which one you're going to attend. I suggest waiting until you know which one you're going to attend. That way you only put in one school, you check the box, we're good. If the earlier you do that, the more efficient we can be in doing your award. We have a deadline. The deadline is June 1st. I understand that not everybody knows exactly what they're going to do by June 1st. So we're not, we do that to say, if you get it in by this time, you shouldn't have any problems. But if you really don't know, and then you don't do that, you don't complete our application till like July or maybe even August, just know that for us to do an award, it takes time. Like nobody's just sitting back and writing checks, cutting checks. There's a whole process that has to happen. We have to get your information from the school. We have to look at what your financial aid is. We have to develop an award for you. It has to go through the community foundation. They have processes before they cut checks. They actually cut a check. It's not electronic, and it goes in the mail. And then when it gets to the school, they have to get the check, cash it, put it in you see what I'm saying? There's a whole process for this. So a lot of people, especially families, expect that they can call. We do a little something, we do a little shuck and jive, and then their account is taken care of at the end of the day. That's not it. It's going to take weeks. So if you wait till August, just know that you probably won't get the award till October. If you get it done in June, that gives us plenty of time to get you squared away and make you whole.
That was some information.
Yeah.
All right, guys. And yes, Omar.
This is Rory.
Oh, Rory.
So like for EOP and HEOP, they're two different things, right?
Not necessarily. So EOP is a state-run program, and it's educational opportunity program, and that is a program if you go to a public school, a SUNY school. HEOP is also a state-run program. It's called Higher Education Opportunity Program, and that's if you go to a private school. So it's kind of one and the same. It's just if you go to a public school, it's EOP. If you go to a private school, it's HEOP. But they both do the same thing. So for those that are not familiar, When a college accepts you, let's say you want to go to Cortland, and Cortland is like, they're looking at your application and they're like, this seems like a pretty good kid. He doesn't quite fit what we like. Like maybe, you know, your GPA is a little bit lower than what they like, or you're not as well rounded as they would like you to be. You go into EOP and they have supports to help you be successful. In all of them, there are income requirements. There's like an income threshold you have to be in. There's an academic threshold you have to be in, and there might be another criteria point. So, you know, but I would highly advise you check them out because you can't, once you go to a college, you can't apply to HEOP your second year. You have to apply to it year one. And they help with, they actually do more than Say Yes does. They help with tuition, they help with books, they help with all types of stuff. And above and beyond that, they work with you on campus to make sure you're successful. They'll help you with your professors. If you're having trouble, they'll help you get tutoring. If you're having some, if you're having an issue with another student on campus, they'll help to mitigate that. If you're having an issue with whatever the case, they are there. So I would highly advise, if you go to a public or a private, check out EOP or HEOP.
So is HEOP and EOP, are they different from the Say Yes scholarship?
They are. So if you go and you get into EOP or HEOP, you'll still get a state, like we're still going to honor what we do. They're just going to use the resources for that student on other things. So like, all right, you'll get your Say Yes award, right? But EOP will say, but this student needs, this student needs their room and board covered, or they need their books covered, or whatever. Now they won't cover everything for you. I mean, you're probably still going to have to put some skin in the game and pay something, or take out a small loan for something. But they'll make it they'll make it much more affordable than those that aren't in EOP or HEOP. You could believe that. And like I said, above and beyond the money, it's a program. Like they will be there for you all 2 years or all 4 years to help you be successful.
Yeah, I had another question too. I know I'm asking.
Yeah, keep them rolling. I'm ready. Keep them rolling.
So if your grades aren't really like up to par, you think the Say Yes scholarship, would it come out? Like not come out, but would they stop giving it to you?
No. So all right. So where you are right now, your grades being up to par is subjective, right? Like whatever that is. If you feel like for the particular school your grades aren't really where they need to be, one, you should just look at EOP because they might be able to help. And two, our eligibility for you to get in has nothing to do with grades. You just got to get in by yourself. But while you're in high school right now, we don't Say Yes. We don't even record that. Like we don't care about your grades right now. What we do care about is once you get into college, yes, then we want you to have a 2.0 for our student responsibilities. But right now, that really is between you and the admissions at the college. So if your grades are, if you go to a college and you're like, oh man, they want kids to have, this type of SAT score and this type of grade or this type of ACT score, that's really between you and them. Once you get in, then that's when we get involved.
Anything else, guys?
This is a good group. I'm loving this.
Yeah, this was a great first session.
Yeah. Well, and again, I have to apologize to you all. So for whatever reason, I thought they were like 8th, 9th, maybe 10th grade. So
yeah,
I
usually speak to. Yeah, usually speak to the middle school kids. So I can see where you got that, but we got a great group of seniors that are getting ready. So I want to do this. I wanted to get this going end October, and so actually I got it going a couple weeks early just so they can get the information and get going. I'm glad to see that, Yassine is already moving, and some of these guys are already moving towards that. So that's good.
That's excellent.
All right. Anything else, guys? Awesome. Hey, well, thank you so much. I think next week we're trying to get someone from On Point.
Thank you.
And tell you what they offer. As you know, Ahmeed already talked about that they work together on this, so that could be good. Yassine, did you have something? No. Okay. All right. Anything else, guys? Hey, well, thank you so much. Oh, what do you got, Omar?
Nah, this is Rari. I'm in On Point.
Yeah, so if you're already working with On Point, they're a great organization. When they come and talk to you all, you'll see they're great, and just know that we work with them too. So you're supported by a number of organizations that want to see you win.
Absolutely. All right. Hey, thank you so much.
Excellent.
I appreciate
Anytime. I got the link. I'm good to go.
it. All right, man.
All right. You guys have a good one.
All right. And guys, Mr.
Bye.
Smith, Mr. Smith will
All
be
right,
on
thank you.
tomorrow.
How come you're not gonna be on tomorrow?
Look, man, I got a life.
All right.
Thursdays is my one bad night, man. So Thursdays, you guys got to give me Thursday. I'm good Tuesday and Wednesday, but you got to give me Thursday. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys learned something. Bring some more questions.
All right, thanks.
All right.